Good morning, folks. This is yours truly, iFish, back doing some perch fishing. And while perch fishing today, I'm gonna do a review of this guy, GARMIN Force trolling motor. This video will be about 30 minutes uncut. So pay attention to the behavior of the spot lock of this trolling motor. There's about 5 miles per hour wind here. And look at this, the anchor gain is on 1. Okay, so this is the minimum anchor gain. I'm not saying good or bad, but just so you know how it behaves with my boat. You all know my boat, 16.5 foot deep V, maybe 2,500 pounds with the engine and gas and gear and everything. So yeah, keep an eye on that. This guy is zooming through the no wake zone. Whatever. Yeah, this is gonna shake us up. Let's wait a minute because I don't want to edit this video because I want you to see how the spot lock behaves uncut, okay? Let me cast while I'm waiting for this shaking to stop. Most of the fish and the boats that I found today are over there by the factory, by the way. If you're coming to fish, today is Sunday, December 13th. If you're coming to fish next week, the fish is by the factory, but it's really loud there. I can't record a video over there. Even over here, you can probably still hear the factory, but this is the best I can do. If I go further down, I couldn't see any fish there. So I'm not gonna sit here 30 minutes and not catch anything while I'm doing the review. I'm starting with a little goby, by the way. I know you're all sick of the goby, but the goby is really small and it helps me find the fish and see if the fish are active. If I catch them good with the goby, I right away switch to bigger, juicier swim baits. Here's the first fish. So let's catch a few fish with the goby just to make sure the bite is good. And we're gonna switch to bigger baits, okay? But okay, let's start with the review. Come here, buddy. My overall opinion of the GARMIN Force trolling motor, guys, is I'm pretty disappointed given the price tag of the product and given that it was released in 2018 or 2019 or of 2020 or 2019. It was just recently released about a year ago. I find it inferior in many aspects to my very old. Before this, I had a Minn Kota Ultera, which was a $2,400, $600 cheaper. This one is about $3,000. The Minn Kota Ultera was $2,400. And in many aspects, anything that has connection with user experience, with user interface, the Minn Kota is just far superior. Okay, but let's start from somewhere, okay? Because it's never so cut and clean like the Daiwa Luvias. I can tell you, not the Luvias, the Legalis. The Daiwa Legalis is just incredible real, just incredible value at $50. Just go buy it, don't even think about it. There are no downsides to that purchase. Very few products I can recommend like this. This trolling motor has a lot of strong features and a lot of bad features. So whether you want to go for it, in my opinion, really depends on what you want to do with it. And I hate to tell you, but you have to kind of hear the rest of this review. I'm going to try to stay further back so you can watch the head. But you have to hear what is good and what is not good and then decide what if it's going to work for you. So I'm gonna start with the good things because at the end of the video it may come across that I'm a little bit overly critical, and I'm criticizing things that nobody cares about, which is often the case. So I got a few bites, but no connection, and now I'm upset that I have to pull up without a fish. But okay, starting from the assembly, I tried to pay several mariners to install this trolling motor for me, and they all wanted like $400 for installation, and I had to wait like 4 weeks or 6 weeks. I mean, they were booked. I got this guy in May, beginning of May. They were booked for 4-6 weeks ahead, so I had to first of all wait and then pay like $400. So even though I didn't want to install it myself, I decided to install it myself because I had no choice. It wasn't even for the money, I promise you. But Garmin made such a good video. It's a 10-minute video about the installation of this trolling motor, that me just following the 10-minute video, I installed this trolling motor for one morning from whatever 9 o'clock to maybe 1 o'clock, and my wife helped me once for 2 minutes to put 2 bolts over there. I was holding it and she put the bolts. That was the only... Hey, and if they're biting like this on the little goby, how am I going to catch them with a bigger bait? That was the only point where I needed help from somebody. So thumbs up to Garmin for creating this video, because I think it will help thousands of people save money on the installation. It's really, there are some steps, you have to go through the steps, but there was nothing that required the expertise of electrician. I mean, you're just connecting cables. So do not be afraid to undertake the installation yourself. I'm not good with these things, and I still did it for 4 hours with very little help from my wife. So that's good, even though it's a big thing. Next good thing is this brushless motor that Garmin advertises. This is not just marketing. This motor is indeed much stronger and much more energy efficient than my Minn Kota. Let's be honest. This thing is, when I put it on 10 or 20, whatever the maximum speed, it feels like my little boat is going to get up on plane. It's just ridiculously strong. Maybe, I don't know, maybe 50% stronger. Here's one little perchik. Maybe 50% stronger than my Minn Kota, even though at 24 volts, this is supposed to be 80 pounds. And my Minn Kota was also supposed to be 80 pounds. But I'm telling you, they are not both 80 pounds. This thing is stronger than my Minn Kota, no matter what the numbers say. So power, this is much stronger, okay? By the way, this is rated for 120 pounds of torque if you have a 36 volt system. That's kind of nice, because if one day you upgrade, you don't need to just put one extra battery. You don't need to upgrade your trolling motor. You get the power right away. And the other thing that I'm just thinking, if all the wiring is designed for 120 pounds of thrust, that means that running this on 80 pounds, you're not running the chance of blowing stuff, because all of the cables, they must have been engineered for much stronger current. Okay, it's the same trolling motor on 24 volts, it's 80 pounds. On 36 is 120 or 112, I'm not exactly sure. But I'm sure they engineered it for the heavier currents. So power, much better than Minn Kota Ultera. Efficiency, okay, efficiency is a little complicated because I put lithium batteries a little bit. Well, I put the lithium batteries first. I did use the lithium batteries with the Minn Kota as well, but I'm totally buying the efficiency claims as well. that the brushless motor is, I don't know, 25% more efficient or 40% more efficient. I don't know what they claim, but I'm telling you, I'm buying it because, I mean, with this thing, I have fished once 2 days in southern Illinois. I came back and my batteries were 50%. And after 1 day of fishing, I'm usually either 70, 80 or 90%. The voltage it's ridiculous. When I'm going home, my voltage on my batteries is usually 26.6 volts. After, I don't know, 5-6 hours of fishing here in the cold, it's still so, I'm totally buying, I don't want to spend more time on this. I'm totally buying the efficiency claims of the brushless motor. And the last advantage of the brushless motors that I don't have to buy, that's just a fact, that it is quieter. Okay, you put this on 50% and you start cruising with 3 miles per hour, with my boat at least. I'm doing all right. Yeah. I'm recording a video, by the way. Keep in mind that you may get into the video. If you don't want to be in the video. Yeah. I fish. That's it. Looks like we're gonna have company. Yeah, it is much quieter. Just the propeller is much quieter. The DC motor in the propeller is much quieter. Turning the head left and right is not quieter. That's the same in the boat. But when the propeller is working, much quieter. So right away, if power is important to you, power and efficiency is important to you, man, this looks like a good one. This is a good one, man. I'm gonna keep this guy. That's a good one. If power and efficiency are important to you, like you're somebody who wants to troll with the trolling motor, this guy is excellent for the job. But this is where the good stuff ends, and this is where I start to get complaints. Take a look at the pedal, okay? The pedal, let me lift it for you. The pedal is too high, man. Let me see if I can drop it in the water. You know, it's too high. Why did you design the pedal so high? The Minn Kota pedal is much lower. Imagine you have to put 1 foot over here and the other foot on the floor. Now 1 foot is too high and you cannot put weight on the foot that is on top of the pedal just because it's too high. So it's difficult to stay with the foot on the pedal when it's that high. I don't know how bass anglers fish with this all day. I saw Scott Martin and everybody is praising this. I just don't get this. If I was a tournament bass angler, I would not be using this GARMIN Force trolling motor unless they're paying me a lot of money. But this is just not comfortable. Okay, the bass boats, they have these depressions with these holes, so you put it in a hole, so it's not that high. But for me, I don't have this kind of space on my boat. It's too high. It's just uncomfortable because it's too high. The other thing is the lag. The lag is the biggest problem with this trolling motor. The lag is just debilitating. It's just excruciating pain. The lag these bass anglers, the lag must bother you. I don't know how. Everybody is praising this thing, but the lag is just okay. With the pedal, actually, the lag is is not as bad as when you use the remote for some reason. But even with the pedal, there is lag. That button for adjusting the sensitivity of the pedal, this has nothing to do with the lag. You're not improving the lag when you play with that button. You just you're not you're just changing how responsive the head is to 1 inch of travel of the pedal, but the lag is still the same. But okay, it's a fraction of a second. You can work with the lag in the pedal, but it's still not comfortable. The buttons, you have to remember what is where, because why did you make them black? Make these icons on the buttons on the pedal with some colors so I can remember them. I mean, I'm coming from a different trolling motor. It's not easy for me to, I'm coming from Minn Kota, to know which button is which. Also, the wheel for adjusting the speed is too tough to spin. It was so easy on the Ultera. Now you have to press and push. There is too much resistance on the wheel for the speed. So the pedal, I'm not happy with it. I mean, to release this product in 2020, you must have looked at the pedal of the Ultera. Why did you release this pedal? But okay, this is actually not, if you're only working with the pedal, you can live with this trolling motor actually. As you see, a lot of people live. What you are not going to be able to live with is this remote over here. Okay, this remote, first of all, look at it. Look how cheap it looks. This looks like something that you bought on eBay, like one of these cheap, like one of these, let me get this fish, cheap universal TV remotes. You know what I'm talking about? That are good for all TVs. This is what it looks like. Compare this with the remote of the 5-year-old Ultera. When was the Ultera released? 2015? It's a much older product. And the remote has an LCD screen and the graphics, the user interface. I mean, the remote of the Ultera is absolutely amazing. The remote of the Ultera has zero lag. Even if you're traveling with the heading on, I forgot what it's called on the Minn Kota, but even if you're traveling, you touch an arrow to change the direction, it's absolutely immediate. It's like you have a freaking cable tied to the remote. You touch, and as long as you hold the button, it keeps moving, just completely linearly and without any kind of delay. This thing, if you are moving with the heading on and you press the arrow, it takes like 1-2 seconds before it starts moving. And then you keep holding because it doesn't move. Then it starts moving. Then it goes too much because you kept holding it for too long. Because you don't have to hold it long, it just has such an annoying lag. I can talk about the lag for too long. I'm really pissed off at the lag because it's absolutely unacceptable to have this remote and this much lag on a $3,000 product. If you are one of these people that have the remote on their neck, let me fish, guys, while I'm talking about, because I'm getting kind of passionate and not doing nothing. Now you're against the sun. But what can I do? But if you're one of these people that have the remote on the neck and you work only with the remote, just forget about this GARMIN Force trolling motor. It will drive you nuts. The remote is beyond help. Okay, so the remote is really bad. Just if you don't trust me, get on somebody else's boat and try using the remote. It's bad. It's unacceptable for a $3,000 product. Here we go. The other thing with the remote is the menu. I mean, to scroll through these things to get to what you need is just a torture. Come on, man, who designed this and released this product in 2020? To me, when I see this remote and these menus, it's like it was designed in 1989 and just released now. But they were designing it 30 years ago. Look at this. Look at the screen here. If you have to type a password here for your Wi-Fi to connect to the other stuff, with these arrows, you're typing passwords. In 2020, who designed this and then who approved this, man? Who thought, oh yeah, that's totally fine. That's much better than competition. That's totally acceptable. It's almost like curiosity. Who is in the marketing department of these people that approved this remote? They say, oh, but that's because it floats. No kidding. You know, when I look around here in the canal, there is a lot of trash floating. That's how I associate. Trash is floating. This, when you grab it in your hand, you touch the buttons, it feels cheap, it feels like trash. To me, it's only natural that it will float. It floats because it's trash. Okay, did you hear enough about the remote? I hope you did. I have been collecting kind of hatred for this remote. So I wanted to vent out. The spot lock. Now, hey, good bite, man. You can go back to watch this video again to see how the spot lock behaved with sensitivity of 1. This is the lowest sensitivity. I lost it again. The spot lock for my boat, they told me my boat is too light. That's why it's hyperactive. The head is hyperactive. It's constantly adjusting. I mean, we have 3-5 miles per hour wind right now, but it's constantly spinning and it's very loud. And when it hits the end of the spinning, it stops really harsh. I really wish when the head was spinning, it reaches a point where it doesn't want to turn to left anymore because it's going to get tangled, and then it goes very fast in the other direction. Watch it now. Move this cable away. Then it goes very fast in the other direction. Look. Toop. And at the end, when it finishes this fast recovery, you hear toop. It's very harsh. Why is it so harsh? Now, I watch people on other boats. It doesn't seem to be so hyperactive on heavier boats. So there is probably some truth to that. And in all honesty, I was not happy with the Minn Kota spot lock either. To me, it's not about accuracy. I don't want anything. I don't mind if the boat is floating around a little bit. I just want the trolling motor, look at this nonsense, to be stealthy, not to spook the fish all the time, I just want a stealthy trolling motor. This guy is doing overcompensations all the time. The only situation where it worked really good was on Illinois River, where you actually have current. Wind alone, believe it or not, even with 10 miles per hour wind, it still goes too far forward and has to drop back to adjust the coordinates. The only place where it worked really good is to hold me in current on Illinois River, and it did really well, man. It held me 8 hours in current, guys, with these batteries. 8 hours in not strong current, but maybe 1 mile current for 8 hours, and I got home with 50% batteries, with 26.6 volt on my batteries. Just ridiculous power and efficiency, but spot lock for those crappy anglers that want to be stealthy, it's no good. You're gonna have to use the pedal, and the pedal has lag. So I don't know how you're gonna use it. I mean, I just put it on spot lock anyway, and I deal with it, and I let it just spin around the whole time. That's probably not good for durability. Look again. It's constantly adjusting. You can see the ripples. But keep in mind, this is a canal. So to get ripples, you gotta have a good wind in this canal here. So, like I said, the Minn Kota spot lock was not all peaches either. It was constantly choking itself. But again, the Minn Kota was designed in 2015. It was released in 2015. It was probably designed 2-3 years before that. So I can kind of excuse Minn Kota for not having the perfect spot lock because their product is so old. This product was released a year ago, and the spot lock, I don't know, maybe they need to have some kind of machine learning. So with time, it improves behavior. This thing doesn't learn, doesn't improve behavior. So whatever, I'm gonna fish it 2 years. Here we go. I'm gonna fish it 2 years, and I'm gonna get rid of it before something breaks down, because with the spot lock spinning all the time, something is probably not gonna last very long. On top of that, I don't know who is gonna fix these things. I see a lot of Minn Kota service repair centers, but GARMIN, where are the GARMIN repair centers? I don't even want to think what I have to do if it breaks. So, okay, the video I'm sure is pretty long already. How to end this video? Yeah, I mean, it can still be a good trolling motor if you are, I think the perfect application is if you are a catfish guide, where you fish in the rivers or you just drift for hours and you don't care about sensitivity, lag, response, none of that. You want a strong trolling motor, and you want good energy efficiency, so you can fish all day and your batteries will suffice. I mean, this guy is much better than the Minn Kota in these aspects, so the rest of the things don't matter to you. I lost it. That never happens, to lose it so late. Usually if I lose them on the bite. But yeah, for catfish guys, I think catfish anglers are gonna be happy with it, or anybody else who needs just the power. These bass tournament anglers, how they fish with it, I mean, I know how they fish with it. You know, they probably make money and they have the motor, the pedal in this depression on their deck, so it's not too high. So, and the lag is not that bad when you use the pedal. It's not that bad when you use the pedal. But don't let anybody tell you that it compares to Minn Kota in terms of interface and user experience. I haven't even had the Ultrex. I had the Ultera, but I can imagine for tournament fishing, the Ultrex is like, I don't know, 10 times better than this. I'm sure if money didn't matter, everybody would use the Ultrex for tournament fishing. I think that's it, folks. I didn't do much fishing, so I'm gonna keep the tape rolling, but I'm not gonna talk about the GARMIN Force trolling motor anymore. So if you want to just stay and see me catch a few fish, the bite is pretty good, so I started using slightly larger bait here. This is like 2¼ inch. Hopefully to catch some keepers, but this is it about the trolling motor. The rest of the tape will be just fishing for perch. Let me know if you have any questions. I do reply to all non-crazy questions. Lately I'm getting some crazy questions, but that was, I guess, bound to happen at some point. But yeah, my channel is still pretty small and I do have time to reply to all questions. Right, let's catch some perch now. This is the Abu Garcia Real Finesse, Eradicator Real Finesse with the new Vanfort. Fishing drop shot with 4 grams weight as a sinker. And 4 grams is way too much for the tip of this rod. But I'm loving the sensitivity and I'm loving the fight. So I still use this rod just because I enjoy reeling the fish with it. And it's funny, 4 grams of drop shot weight on my other rods feels just normal. When I'm dragging this drop shot on the bottom with the Abu Garcia rod, everything feels so exaggerated with this rod. It feels like I'm dragging an anchor on the bottom and I'm just disturbing everything and getting clouds of mud on the bottom. Because the rod is already hypersensitive, dragging this heavy 4 gram sinker, you do need 4 grams though, because I don't have a lead on the lure itself and 35 feet deep. Anything less than 4 grams, you're gonna wait a long time for this guy to sink. Even now I have to wait 8 or 9 seconds just to sink. But yeah, the sensitivity with this heavy, it's amazing. I feel everything. You can feel them, but doesn't mean you can catch them. Forgot my sunglasses. And the sun is bothering me. I know it's bothering you too. Here we go. Man, good fishing. I love this rod. I'm thinking of buying a second Eradicator, but just ultralight instead of super ultralight, so I can use it in situations like this, where this tip is just too soft to drag a 4 gram drop shot weight. Good bite, but no 10-inchers. That's what everyone is complaining. Well, they're not complaining from good bite, just babies. Actually, I got complaints that the bite is slow today. There are no new schools of fish entering the river due to the cold weather. I was hoping maybe some new schools come in, because these schools are now so spread through the river that it's becoming increasingly difficult to find fish. And even when you find them, it's difficult to stay on top of them. So today is Sunday. I came about around 11 o'clock. There was 5 boats on the ramp. To give you an idea, on Thanksgiving, there were so many boats that maybe, I don't know, 50 boats, maybe more. There was not enough spaces on the ramp. People are parking on the curb. But people just gave up on perch fishing. It's been a tough year. Just awesome fighting fish with this rod, any fish.